Okay, next up is Laos. I'm here in our hotel room in Tokyo. We leave tomorrow to go home. It's so crazy. All right, so Laos was after Thailand, and at the end of the last video, I said that we took a boat into Laos. So starting from there, I mentioned that it's like I'm so far delayed, I have to go back and remember everything that we did. I wanted to show you guys something cool in case you didn't know about it. On Google Maps, you can click your profile up at the top. This is Jem's phone. And you can go to your timeline, and then it will show you all the things you did every day if you have your location on, which we do. So if I go to November 21st, which is the day we started Laos, it shows me that we started at a hotel. It even says we went across customs and border control. There you go. Look, Laos, border control, and immigration. Anyways, it shows you a little path of your journey every day. So we walked around town that day. Anyways, that's a fun fact. Go check it out. So Google Maps, your timeline, pick a day. All right, so we started from Chiang Khong, Thailand, and in the morning we got picked up really early from our hotel by the tour company. I booked this whole thing through a tour company, so these 2 days were all kind of guided, we were shuffled around. The first thing they did was took us to the border. So land border crossings are always interesting. This one had a little extra dose of interesting. So we get in a van, they take us to essentially the Thai border where we sign out of the country. And then there's this no man's land. They put us back on the bus. We drive to the Laos border across this bridge. We get to the Laos border, and this is very similar than everything I said in Thailand. It's every little step you're being asked for money, and you just give them the money they ask for. I don't know, there's not really another option. I looked as much up as I could online about what each step would cost, and there were ranges, because that makes sense. It's it might be $30, it might be $50, it depends. There might be an extra $10 fee here. The weird thing about the Laos border is it specifically said it was going to cost 40 USD for our visa to enter. So it's really weird that they're asking for USD. There's a lot of countries that do that in commerce, but I hadn't seen it at an official border crossing. So the other thing they say is that your bills have to be crisp. We haven't been in the States for months, so all I had was a single $100 bill that I left the States with 4 months ago. Not crisp, but fairly new. It's all the new printing on it. It's not an old one. So that's what I was going to try for. But of course, we get to the gate, we go through multiple steps, and I get to the point to pay for it, and I give them the $100, and they're like, no, we're not taking this. So we have to go backwards in the process to an ATM, and of course there's just one ATM, so you can imagine they enjoy sticking the fees on that one. And where we had to pull out, I think, 2 million of whatever the currency was. So we get back in line, we pay a little bit extra, so 45 USD, because we didn't have USD and we have to pay it in Kip. That's what it was, in Lao Kip. So that whole thing is annoying. Everybody in our tour group had a different experience. Some people paid in euros, some people had USD, some people paid in Kip. Nonsense, I don't know. So once that was over, we were really glad, but it was a super annoying thing. So we get back on the bus, they drive us to where we're getting on the boat. Now, the boat ride was amazing. I would go back and do it again. It was called a slow boat, and it was exactly that. You're going up the Mekong River. It's a really long, narrow boat. We paid for this, I guess, luxury tour because you each get your own table and seat to sit at. There's a public boat you can take, and it's literally just people sitting on the ground, people sitting on makeshift seats, just crammed into the boat. We were not going to do that for 2 days straight. So we got on this boat. We have assigned seats, benches at tables. We get sat across from this lovely couple from the UK. They're just a little bit younger than us, and they're on the other side of the table. That ended up really great. We chatted the whole way, both days. Hopefully they didn't get tired of us. On the boat, it was the craziest thing. We met another couple. They were from Canada, and we were chatting with them, talking about the crazy USD to Kip border crossing nonsense. And the guy was like, oh, by the way, my name's Jim. And we're like, oh, that's crazy. His name's Jim. And I looked at her, I was like, what about you? And at like the same time, we were like, Christine. Her name was Christine. I go by Christy, but my name is Christine. So it was wild to meet another couple named Jim and Christine. So that was really fun. That was a fun joke the whole 2 days because our little name tags both said Jim and Christine. I'm getting a storage warning, so I'm going to pause, delete some stuff, and then now that I'm really good at stitching videos together, we'll do that. Okay, we're back. Boat. The slow boat was cool. It was interesting. They had like a few stops planned along the way. They fed us lunch. The stops were kind of uncomfortable. They stop at these like village tribes and kind of parade you through town while the kids ask for things and hope you brought them toys or candy or something, but they're definitely living in pretty extreme poverty, and so it was weird being like a group of 30 Westerners just being kind of, again, paraded through town just to look at them. I'm not sure entirely why that's part of the tour. Hopefully the tour group, as a part of your fee, like pays a donation to that group. I'm not sure, but didn't love that part, but it's always interesting to see how different villages are set up. We did stay one night because it's a 2-day boat ride, so we got it to a town called Pak Bang, and they let us off the boat. They had made our hotel arrangements, so this is the only night where I did not know what hotel we were staying in, so we showed up to the hotel. It was, I think Jim and I both agree, probably the yuckiest hotel we stayed in, but didn't expect much else. You're in the middle of nowhere. I don't think there's many roads that run to and from this village. It just was a bed to sleep in. We both kind of like slept in our clothes, kept our shoes on when we walked around the room. I did not shower in that shower. But it was just one night. We had a pretty good dinner down the street at a little restaurant overlooking the river. And across the river was an elephant sanctuary, and we got to see them like walking the elephants down to the river, and the elephants giving themselves a bath right before the sun went down. That was pretty cool. So we left there. We had our second day on the water. I really enjoyed the boat ride because you're kind of stuck, not able to do much, which I like forced stillness. It's hard to decide to be still, but it's nice when you get to be still and you have no other choice. I had my watercolor stuff. I did a lot of paintings on that ride because we're just sitting and relaxing. So I had a good time doing that and just kind of catching up, taking a deep breath after Thailand, which was pretty fast-paced. We get to the town we're going to be staying in, Luang Prabang. Again, we pull up to this kind of like, it was not a marina of any sorts. You pull up to the side of the river. They put you onto shuttles. They take you to your hotel, and then it was all gone. We did get the numbers of the couple we sat across from and the other Jim and Christine, so we do meet up with them later in the week, each of them separately for dinner, which was a lot of fun. We get to our hotel. Laos was just a lot of... It felt like a lot of drama in my head. None of it was bad. It was just like a lot more unpredictable than our other parts of the trip, and unpredictability is challenging for me, so it was kind of a stressful week. We get to our hotel and we go to check in, and they don't have our name on their check-in. I booked it through Booking, and they were like, oh, okay, well, like sometimes our booking guide doesn't put stuff on our calendars. It's not helpful for me. So they put us in a room, and I'm like, this is not the room I booked. I paid extra for a different room. They're like, oh, well, that person stayed longer, so we can't put you in that room. Like, I was really upset. I was trying to be very, like, direct. Like, this is what I paid for. But with the language barrier and me not being super aggressive in the first place, we obviously slept in that room that night. I was frustrated and tired, but they moved us to the room we're supposed to be in the next day, and unfortunately, it wasn't much better. We had a good view of the river. That was about it. I was pretty upset with that room. I considered just paying for a different hotel, but we didn't have the energy. The first 2 days in Laos, we did do one of our coolest activities though. So we had paid for a 2-day silk weaving course at a professional weaving place. So we learned how to dye our own fabrics. I dyed mine indigo blue, which is from soaking some of these leaves in a solution, and it turns it blue. So I got to dye my silk yarn blue, and then Jim got to make a type of color that's from chopping a certain type of wood and then soaking the wood and soaking your silk. So he did a red one and a gold one. After that, we got to learn how to use the looms. So these are like full size, I'm making my arms really wide, full size looms, like production level. There's a whole bunch of master weavers like going to town making all kinds of stuff near us. So we learn how to use all the petals and the shuttle, and we each have our own master weaver there to help us. So over the next 2 days, Jim and I each wove our own full-size silk scarf, and that was really cool. I enjoyed that. Once you get going and like the motion of it, it's pretty repetitive. So I enjoyed just kind of zoning out and doing the same thing over and over again. That was a nice. Jim got pretty tired of it. I could have gone for more days, but we both have a beautiful silk scarf to take home, and that was really neat. The next morning, I woke up feeling awful. I got pretty sick, just a head, cold, throat, coughing, face kind of thing. So my throat was really scratchy. I didn't sleep very good. My nose was really stuffy. My head was pounding. Just a really bad cold. So our next 2 days in Laos, I pretty much stayed in bed. We tried to go and walk a little bit. Jim went out a little bit on his own, but I was just feeling really terrible. I think I was pretty exhausted. I had been stressed out about the couple days that we had just had, like I said. So I think I just got really worn out and needed some rest. So unfortunately, that cold lasted like the next couple weeks. Through Hong Kong, through Seoul, and the start of Japan, which was a bummer. Thankfully, the headaches went away after 3 or 4 days. My sore throat went away after like a week, so really I just had a stuffy, runny nose for about a month. Feeling better now, but that started in Laos, and that was pretty crummy. So the last 2 days, we kind of took it easy. Luang Prabang was pretty neat. I think had we been staying in a hotel that I was comfortable in, I think I would have had a little bit better of a time, and obviously if I wasn't sick. But I would definitely go back if I had a reason to, or if we were going with someone else. I would definitely do the slow boat again. So Laos altogether was really surprising. We only were there 4 days total in town. There's a few other towns we could have gone to. Some of the people we met were going on to other towns, Vientiane, Vientiane. So I would definitely go back and explore more, but I think I would need to be freshly energized and not running on fumes, and you just have to expect that there's going to be a lot more unpredictability. It was probably the least developed infrastructure we had been around, so like roads, toilets, commerce, that was all very basic. So it's always interesting to see how different communities kind of run in a less modern environment. One positive thing about that was that the pharmacy was really easy to get some medicine for my cold. Pharmacy is kind of more like we would see like a drugstore or convenience store, but you don't have to have a prescription from your doctor. They have a pharmacist on staff, a certified pharmacist, and you just tell them, you know, I was like sore throat, stuffy nose, headache, and she gave me some cold medicine. That was really helpful. It made me really sleepy, so that's why I rested the next couple days, but that was nice, not having to go to the hospital or to a doctor. I think that's it for Laos. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything like I did with Thailand. Like I said, that was kind of one of our more roller coaster parts of the trip. We were kind of ready for moving back into the modern world after that. Yeah, my notebook says sick, still sick. So that's pretty much what happened those 2 days. To leave Laos, we had to fly to Bangkok, and from Bangkok, we flew to Hong Kong. I think I'm going to go ahead and try and do the Hong Kong video later today. Cool. Thanks for listening. Bye.